Alto Kick12. I've had this for a couple days, and my basic assessment is this. It's not very loud. Actually, there's a lot more to it than that. But the reason why I got this amplifier was for a solo act, to scale down on the rig that I had. Which was way too heavy, too cumbersome, too much to carry around, and I wanted to try to just put it all in one package if I could. So this is what I came up with. As far as the cost goes, in respect to this amp, I've seen it anywhere from $300 to $400 plus. On Amazon, I've seen it retail for $549. I picked this thing up for $175.20. I wouldn't recommend paying any more than $225 for this amp. That's just my opinion, and take it for whatever it's worth, but certainly not any more than $225. Now, is it a quiet amp? Yes, it is. Is it a clean amp? Yes, it is. Is it able to reproduce the sound that you put into it without colorization? Yes, it does. It doesn't have a whole lot of headroom. It is able to function according to the company at 400 watts at peak power, 200 watts at continuous power, although that depends on how you measure that. Now, I plugged directly into this, that is channel 2 and channel 3, cranking up all the way the main mix or output for the channel section, and which left me with at a volume level at 12 o'clock for the melody side and 10 o'clock for the bass side at a moderate volume level. Now, what do I mean by moderate? Now, again, I'm using this as a solo act, so I don't need a whole lot of volume, but I do need extra headroom for whatever venue calls for that. Unless I'm going to go ahead and be able, if there's a PA system available, if I'm just using this amp, I can plug into it and go direct into the house with it, which solves a lot of problems, right? No big deal. In that respect, you can use this amp for anything as a monitor. But just as a standalone amplifier, there has to be some considerations, in regards to being able to produce the volume that you may need. I have intentions to use my preamp, which is my RP1000. To be able to run to the melody side, to boost the melody side, because again, this amp really isn't very loud. 200 watts at continuous power isn't as loud as you would think it would be, and it really depends on how you're measuring those watts as well, based on the design of the amplifier. Okay, it's a good amp. I really like what's available here. I have yet to plug it in, like I said, to use my preamp and to be able to boost, but also at the same time I have yet to check it out to see how the vocal aspect of this is going to work in conjunction with this amp. So once I do that, I will go ahead and do a demo of this. That way you'll get more of an understanding of what's available here. But that's pretty much it with that. It's not very loud, it's clean, it's quiet, it reproduces the sound that you put into it. There's no colorization there, or if there is, it's very minimal. And the sound quality is very good. I really like the sound of it. Now let's move on to the effects. The effects are 256 available variations based off the presets of the effects, which are 16 presets. So you have 16 presets, and then you have 16 variations for those presets, which equates to 256 effects, which mostly are mediocre and poor. This is supposed to be something that's produced by Alesis. In the past, Alesis stuff was very good. I really liked it. But this, very unusable mostly. I only found one effect that I liked, that I would be using, and out of 256, that's not saying much. I really wish companies that do things like this would specialize within 2 to 3 areas, specifically like reverb, variation of reverb, and a variation of delay, and perhaps a variation of modulation, but if anything at all, limit it to just reverb and delay, because that's the most usable effects that you'll ever use. I mean, it's very musical to have reverb, it's very musical to have delay. It depends on how you mix it and how you use it, but it's something that you can use within every song with what you do, where modulation of within different aspects, whether it be flanger or phaser or chorusing or whatever you want to add on to that, is very limited. And especially when you're talking about vocals or something like that, because all these channels share the same effects that you dialed into it. So you want to have something that's going to be compatible if you're going to be singing through it as well, that's going to match up. You don't want to have, unless you plan on singing through a phase shifter or whatever, something like that, which this doesn't have, but I'm just making the point. You want something that's going to be usable and that's going to be functional and that's going to be musical, and this is not really getting it. So that was a great disappointment. A lot of time and expense went into developing this, apparently, or putting it into the amplification system, and like I said, it's mostly useless. So there we go. The kickstand. This this thing, as you can see, if I could bend the shit out of this thing, I won't be using it. I have an amp stand, and that's what I'll be using for this amp. Outside the other options that it has available, I'll cover those things later. But this is, like I said, just a basic assessment. Again, if you're looking for an amplifier for a solo act type of situation, this will cover it if you plan on preamping or bumping the front end of the amp in order to increase the output of the amplifier. It will work. I don't know how it will work, because that's something that I have to check out here in a later date, and which I'll be doing sometime soon. But at $200, $175 is what I paid for it. $200, if you can get it for $200 or a little bit more, it's a worthwhile investment, because just because it's clean, and just because it's portable and it reproduces the sound that you put into it, it's a good amp for what I paid for it. And at this stage, I'm pleased with it. So time will tell. But there we go. Hopefully this was helpful along the line somewhere in your decision making. So peace. Take care.